Welcome, dear viewers, to another in-depth story on Turkish series stars, the place where we wander beyond the glossy red carpets and curated posts to reveal the quiet dramas and heartfelt truths behind Turkey's most luminous names. Before we unravel today's headline-shaping revelation, make sure you subscribe to Turkish series stars, tap that join button to help our growing community, and leave a like if you love immersive, long-form storytelling told with the care and candor you won't find anywhere else. There are moments in the entertainment world that begin softly, like a whisper drifting across a crowded room, yet they land with the force of thunder. Moments when a public figure, long guarded and precise, steps beyond the varnish of their image and allows something exquisitely vulnerable to be seen. This week, that moment belonged to Alp Navruz, an actor whose ascent from promising lead to household name has been accompanied by an almost disciplined commitment to privacy. He has let the work speak and kept his inner world walled off. But those walls trembled during a televised interview when he delivered a confession that lit up the internet within minutes and refused to fade. For an artist known for measured answers and a steady demeanor, the words felt startlingly unshielded, almost intimate. They arrived with a calm gravitas that did not ask for attention but commanded it, as if the truth had waited too long to remain quiet. Looking composed yet unmistakably sincere, he let the cameras hold his gaze and offered a single sentence that rewrote the conversation around his private life. He did not lean on ambiguity, and he did not retreat behind platitudes. He breathed in, considered the weight of what was about to leave his lips, and said it clearly: "If I ever get married, it will only be to Alina." Silence hung for a heartbeat after that line, the kind of pause that makes a studio feel like a cathedral. Then the echo rippled outward. Social media erupted with a rush of disbelief, elation, hesitancy, and nostalgia. Old headlines were dusted off. Timelines filled with side-by-side photos and clips from a series that carved out a special corner in pop culture memory. Fans remembered the spark that first caught fire between Alp Navruz and Alina on Elemi Bayrakma, a project that turned their on-screen chemistry into a generational reference point. Behind the scenes, whispers once followed them. Sometimes a murmur, sometimes a roar, yet always hovering where affection and privacy live in delicate balance. Their eventual parting came quietly, without scandal or spectacle, a closed door that many assumed would never swing open again. And still, with one vulnerable sentence, Alp reignited a story the public never quite finished reading. During the broadcast, his words flowed with a sincerity so unguarded that even the host seemed unprepared for how much gravity they carried. The steadiness in his posture was tempered by a softness in his eyes, and the familiar professionalism in his voice thinned into a tremor that betrayed how deeply this truth was etched. He didn't stop at the first sentence either. He pressed forward, as if allowing a deeper confession to finally rise. "There has only ever been one person who held that place in my life," he explained, choosing simplicity over spectacle. "There is no alternative for me." It did not feel like a stunt, and it did not come wrapped in qualifiers. It felt like a moment of honesty catching up with a man who had, until then, asked his heart to wait. Dear viewers of Turkish series stars, how do you feel when a star of this magnitude opens the quiet room of their emotions and invites the world to look in? Does this kind of unfiltered candor move you, surprise you, or make you cautious? Tell us in the comments. Your thoughts help shape where our next deep dives go. And while you're sharing, don't forget that a like helps Turkish series stars reach more people who love thoughtful, emotional celebrity storytelling. As Alp's confession ricocheted across screens, interpretations multiplied. Some fans saw it as a bright signal of hope, a carefully placed lantern pointing toward reconciliation, a romance paused but not done. Others read it as a reflective acknowledgement, not a plea for reunion but a humble admission that feelings can endure through distance, through time, through the shifting architecture of fame and consistency. Inside the entertainment press, low murmurs grew into careful conversations. Some tabloid voices insisted that friends close to Alina were surprised by the sudden clarity of Alp's statement. Others said that Alina, who has made a habit of protecting her personal life with quiet dignity, was fully aware of the interview and chose silence. That silence fostered 100 interpretations. Was it a shield, a pause to breathe, a wish to honor the gravity of someone else's truth? Or was it the elegant restraint of a woman who knows that some emotions cannot be packaged for public consumption? As is always the case in this industry, uncertainty became fertile soil. On Twitter, Instagram, and fan forums, theories bloomed in hours. Screenshots were saved and shared, commentary threaded with memory and longing. Are they coming back together? Rose into the most repeated question of the night. Seasoned observers noted that this kind of direct, emotionally luminous confession was rare for Navruz. Throughout his career, he has walked the thin line between visibility and privacy with masterful control. He knows where to place a boundary and how to keep it intact. Yet this time, the gate swung open in front of millions. It suggested that the feelings had matured in a way that made silence feel less like protection and more like an omission. Sometimes the heart asks for air. Sometimes a single sentence arrives because holding it in has become too heavy. And here, dear friends of Turkish series stars, we turn to you. If there's another celebrity couple whose story you want us to explore or revisit, one you can't stop thinking about, write it below. Your suggestions point us toward the next chapter of this channel's journey. And yes, if you want to support Turkish series stars even more, that join button is always there. Meanwhile, whispers from industry insiders painted Alp's declaration as less of an impulse and more of a measured step. A bridge, they called it, extended toward a past that still has meaning. Sources near him described recent months as reflective. He has been, they said, weighing the shape of real companionship in a life otherwise curated by schedules, expectations, and constant eyes. Whether reconciliation stands on the horizon remains an unanswered question. No official statement has emerged from Alina, and those who know her best emphasize, as ever, that she values her privacy above all. You can almost hear the chorus of public opinion urging something grand, a public reply, a sign. Yet there's a poise in her quiet. A poise that invites patience. Fans, however, continue to be captivated by the possibility. The openness Alp displayed is rare at his level, and the good faith transparency of his words felt like an invitation to imagine a future shaped more by sincerity than spectacle. When a confession carries this much soul, the conversation becomes less about speculation and more about how people hold on to love across years and versions of themselves. For now, the world watches. The story evolves not through grand gestures, not yet, but through words that refuse to evaporate. They linger, echoing with what was and what might still be. In the intersecting worlds of art, acclaim, and genuine human connection, moments like these remind us why audiences remain faithful to celebrity narratives. We don't return for the glamour alone, or the curated perfection of staged photographs. We return because, in their triumphs and hesitations, something deeply human looks back at us. We return because their longing mirrors our own, and their courage to speak mirrors the courage we hope to find. And as we come toward the closing chapter of today's deep dive on Turkish series stars, thank you for spending time with us inside this intimate revelation. You could be anywhere, yet you are here, listening to a story that unfolded in a handful of sentences and still managed to stir a decade of memory. Before you go, please subscribe to Turkish series stars, tap like to help this video reach more hearts, and share your thoughts below. Your voice is part of this conversation. If you'd like to take your support further, the join button is always open, and your presence there sustains the careful storytelling we are committed to bringing you. Stay close for more exclusive moments, more unguarded confessions, and more carefully crafted narratives that hold space for both reality and romance. We'll be here, watching, waiting, listening for whatever comes next, and ready to bring you the truth with empathy. Until then, keep your notifications on, keep your curiosity alive, and remember, the most unforgettable stories are the ones that arrive softly and refuse to leave. Only here, on Turkish series stars.